Hello, and welcome to Sprints Tonight with Jeanette. So we'll just wait a few minutes, not quite minutes, to see who's going to check in and stuff to let you know what I am reading. I purposely did not put my book title under my name here because I want to see if you guys can guess what I'm reading. It is March. I have started my March TBR, and oh, I've got red on my thumb. Andrew bought one of those like juice squirty things that go in your water. I can't think of what they're called, and it was leaking. And I went to pick it up, and yeah, and now it's on my thumb. Lovely. So we have our first comment. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Jeannie. How are you doing? What are you reading tonight? Hi, Anne. Tell me what you're reading, if you're reading, or what you will be doing. Hi, Morgan. I am reading Gelato at the Villa by Robin Jones Gunn. Nice. Is she the same author as Tea with Elephants? Is that part of that same series? I haven't read it, but the name sounds so familiar to me. Hi, Tabitha. I'll be hopefully finishing The Princess Bride tonight. Nice. I've never read the book. I have seen the movie, though. And Jeannie is reading Shadow in Moscow by Catherine Ray. Nice. And Rooted Reading is reading Little Women tonight. And Anne is I'm listening to Christy by Catherine Marshall. And Gina is here. Hi, Gina. I was going to say my own name. You said hi to Jeanette. I'm guessing you're reading The Bitter End Birding Society. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And Morgan says, yes, it's the second in the series. Okay. So I just saw yesterday that our church library has the Tea with Elephants one. I'm like, I should start the series. Not that I need another series to start, but yeah. Hi, Rachel. I'm reading The Lady's Mind by Francine Rivers. And Tanya is reading Eden Brook. Gosh, I can't say. I'll be reading Secondary Target by Angela Carl too. I love that book. And Elma is here. Hi, Elma. She says hello to everyone. I'm going to be reading some middle grade tonight. So which middle grade are you starting with, Elma? Hi, Bethany. I'm going to try to finish Of Love and Treason. Hi, Lee. I will be reading If It Rains by Jennifer L. Wright. Nice. So I am currently listening to For Such a Time by Kate Breslin. So this is my audiobook. I am 25% in. I have decided audiobook is the perfect way for this because of some of the names of the characters and the locations, and having the narrator say it to me rather than me trying to read it and try to figure it out. So that is going really well. And it is, I should have known from the title, but I didn't clue in until I started reading. And I guess I never read the full back, or I did, but I don't know, it never clicked. It is an Esther retelling, and each chapter starts with a verse from Esther. And my physical read is The Bitter End Birding Society by Amanda Cox. I only just started this yesterday because I was finishing another book, so I didn't start it March 1st. But I am on chapter 10, page 68. I did not get very far yesterday because I had a busy evening. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. We are 1958 and 2025. And Gina, I will be listening to Caleb's story from the Sarah Plain and Tall series from Middle Grade March. Nice. And Elma, I think I'm going to start with A Single Shard. Oh, baby. So let's just dive into a sprint. I found this Irish castle with a little fireplace. I don't need to see any more snow. So I'm taking a break from the winter ones. And we're at 5 after 8. So let's go. Let's do a little bit. I normally do 20, 25, 30-minute sprints. So if we go to 8:40 or 40 after, that will be a 35-minute sprint. So let's do that because I want to make good progress in this tonight. So we're going to read. That's not what I said, Jeanette. We're going to read until 40. Let's choose the right banner. Okay, so that is the end of that sprint. How did everyone do? I got 28 pages read, and I am really enjoying this. And I have come across letters already. Yeah, there's just some really funny lines. And there's like a mobile wedding chapel, like a bus. Like, who gets married in a wedding bus? And then there was another one where, let me see if I can find it. They left me a voicemail telling me not to wait. Something about finding a woman on the side of the road and taking her to the vet. I think you may have something mixed up there. Oh, there's cracking up at times. Okay, let's go back. How did you guys do? Where did we leave off? Here we are. So Anne says that's a pretty scene. Yeah, I really liked it when I saw that one. And Gina agrees it's one of the best ones yet. Well, thank you. Hello from Idaho, reading Miracles on Maple Hill by Virginia Sorensen, maybe? Oh, Lucy popped in. She's working. Tuesdays are cruel. Life is cruel. She has to work on a Tuesday. Yeah. And Jackie, I'm hoping to finish Last to Fall by Lynn H. Blackburn. I'm loving it so far. Also, first time joining Sprint. Nice. Well, welcome, Jackie. I really enjoyed Last to Fall. I just finished it on the weekend. Yeah, it was really good. And we finally get answers. Hi, Annie. I'm reading the Boscombe Valley Mystery, a Sherlock Holmes story. Nice. Hello, Hannah. And Gigi, I'm reading Burning Snow by Abigail Manning. Burning Snow. I wouldn't mind burning snow. It gets rid of it, right? And Bethany, 35 pages left. You're so close. You will finish tonight. Jeannie got 14 pages. Morgan got 2 chapters. Grandma Susan, hi. How are you doing? And Annie made it to 24%. Tanya got a couple chapters read to complete the Edenbrook buddy reading for the day. Yeah, there's a whole group of you reading that, isn't there? Fun. Hi, Christina. I just started The Queen of Poisons by Robert Thorogood for my Murder March book read. Nice. I want to say Jess Girl, but I don't know if that's JSS Girl. I don't know. Got a chapter in. I automatically read it as Jess. Probably just because of the double S and the J, right? And Elma got 2 chapters read. Nice. And Gina got to 40% of Caleb's story. I like the short chapters and how Sarah is kind in explaining conflict to the children and letting them know that everything will be okay. Well, that's good. I also like short chapters. So I read 28 pages, which was 4 chapters. So my chapters are pretty short too. Nice. And M is here. Hi, I'm at dinner but watching. Well, thank you. And Anne got up to 19%. And Terry is here. Good evening. I'll be reading I'll Be Seeing You by Robin Lee Hatcher. I just started it today. That's another good one. I enjoyed that one as well. It is on my shelf somewhere over there. That pink one that's by the white one. Kind of buried a little bit. And Mary Beth, just joining, we'll be reading Born of Gilded Mountains by Amanda Dykes. And Annie is asking, are there any readathons here this month? There is the Middle Grade March by Krista at Books and Jams. I want to say Kelly, but I don't think that's her name. Katie. I don't know what her channel name is. And then Amanda from On the Middle Shelf are hosting that, but it's on the Middle Grade March. They have their own channel. Then there is March Mystery Madness. And I'm just seeing the rest of your comment, Annie. Jackie, less than 30 pages to the end. You will finish as well. Nice. And then Annie says, I know about Middle Grade March and March Mystery Madness, but that's all. I have also heard that there's a Mammoth March, March Mammoths, March of the Mammoths, something like that. But that's like an over 800 page book from what I understand. And I am not that kind of person. And Sunny, hi, I am Jill. Okay. And this is my first reading student, and I'm reading Walking on Hidden Rings by Rachel Scott McDaniel. That is the book. Yes, that is the book that introduced me to Rachel Scott McDaniel, and I loved it so much. I loved it. And I've now read at least 4 others by her since, at least. Because Walking on Hidden Wings, The Dreams We Knew, In Spotlight and Shadow, Above the Fold. Yeah, so I've read 4 now. And yeah, but still by far Walking on Hidden Wings is my favorite. And Tanya, I love Robin Lee Hatcher and Amanda Dykes. Nice. Grandma Susan is listening to The Case of the Missing Marrow Keys? I don't know. By Nancy Springer. I'm at 47%. You're almost halfway. And Celestia is here. Hi. I'm going to be crocheting some granny squares tonight. Well, good for you. Grandma Susan says hi to Jill. And she asks Celestia, what colors are you using? Annie says, I didn't know if you were doing one. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm sort of loosely participating in Middle Grade March, kind of not really by choice. Well, maybe. I mean, I did choose a book, but when I played my TBR game, it wanted me to have a book with an animal on cover. Then it wanted me to have over 400 pages. So I combined that into one book, which is actually a bind up of 5 books, which I consider kind of middle grade, but it's really not middle grade because the main character is 16, but it's, you know, it's from my childhood, I think. I think it's a book I read when I was younger. I will find out when I get into it. But yeah. Other than that, and I mean, I'm reading mystery books, suspense books, but I'm not fitting the prompts of March Mystery Madness, so I'm not technically participating in. I am for sure meeting the prompts for my Christian fiction bingo for the year, for the year. So March's prompts are a borrowed or a gifted book. This one is gifted, and an author's debut book. And is this one the debut? Yes. For Such a Time is her debut. I was like, there's a couple of books she has, and I'm like, is this the one? Yeah. So really, I mean, my first 2 books meet my March prompts. Nice. I will be listening to Murder on the Orient Express on my way home for Read Christie 2026. I liked that book while I was reading it. I hated the ending of that book. I was not satisfied. Bethany Celestria, I will be watching your vlog tomorrow, finishing off Love and Treason tonight. Yes, can't watch it till you finish the book, right? And Celestia says, I got some multicolored blue and white yarn, so the squares kind of look tie-dye. Nice. Celestia says, Bethany, yay. Susan says, Celestia, pretty. And Celestia is planning to turn them into a small tote bag. Interesting. And Christina says, aren't you doing the Christian fiction bingo this month? The prompt for this month? Yeah, yes. I just mentioned that, so you probably commented before I said it. But yes, the 2 prompts are an author's debut and a borrowed or a gifted book. And I just happen to be fulfilling them both with the books that I'm reading right now. And Tanya I'm reading Secondary Target for your bingo board debut novel, and The Red Canary for gifted. Nice. I'm hoping to read The Red Canary later this year. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, this red on my thumb is bugging me. Juice stain. Yeah. I feel like I had a question I wanted to ask, and now I've already forgotten. So bingo would be 6 books? Hmm? So bingo would be 6 books? No, not on my bingo board. Well, maybe. I mean, I guess you could do it that way. So I have not printed any book covers yet this year. So when I show my bingo board, you'll see that there's no covers on it. So there, I'm like, where's my camera? So there is my Christian fiction bingo for the year. So the prompts are on the side and around because I didn't want to cover up the prompts once I put the book covers on the spots. And I just did it very simple. One, I feel awkward because I don't know which way to play. 1 to 5, right? 6 to 7, and you don't have to have 24 separate books. You see, because it's a free book. So I mean, you don't have 25 separate books. You can repeat books for the prompts. So if you have a March book, for example, that is an author's debut and you have to borrow it from the library, for example, or it happened to be gifted to you, you could use the same book cover for 5 and 6. But I'm doing separate prompts because I am. So Annie, I will check out your board. Yes. So December 1st, I want to say, is the announcement video that went up about the yearly reading challenge. And so you can find the link to the printables in there. It is also always linked in my monthly TBRs because I refer to it in my monthly TBRs. So you could just go to March's TBR, go to the description box. The video is there, and then go to the description box. Just follow links, right? Sorry. What was my question? Wow. Totally slipped my mind. So my husband and I have started watching a TV show called Saint Pierre. And it's a detective, like a cop, following 2 cops solving murders, basically. And every episode ends on a cliffhanger. Every single episode. And so we usually watch an episode while we're eating supper, just after, kind of, right? We sit down and watch an episode together. Tonight, and I mean, it's a 45-minute, an hour show. I mean, an hour with commercials. And tonight we watched, and then it ended. It was like, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he's like, next episode? Yeah, next episode, we need answers. Oh, yeah. I'm like, they sure know how to get you hooked. And Sammy is here. Hi, Sammy. So Hannah is, I'm at 12% of Wired Love. I didn't get to read it in January, and I really wanted to read it. I am also buddy reading Seeking Persephone by Sarah M. Eden with my bestie because we want to watch the series. I've just seen stuff about that series, but I knew that it was like connected with Sarah Eden, but I didn't know how, and I don't know anything about the book. I just happened to, I think I saw an Instagram post about it. I think is where I saw it. I haven't actually seen it on any like streaming or TV or whatever. Is it on Netflix or Prime or yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, we don't watch a ton of TV, really, like stuff. We usually find one episode or one show and then kind of binge it. And then we find another show and binge that. And that's about all we really watch. And then I watch BookTube, and Andrew watches, I don't know what you would call it, CarTube, FishTube, Abandoned Building Tube. Andrew watches a bunch of different stuff on YouTube. Usually it's about cars, mechanics, searching, restoring cars, that kind of stuff, or like fish tanks, and they have tons of aquarium. Like he watched that one video the other day, and I think he said the guy had 70 aquariums in his basement. I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm like, we have two. That is enough. Yeah, that's enough. And then every once in a while, he's watching some like weird, like these guys are wandering through this abandoned buildings and stuff. And I'm like, aren't they trespassing? That's all I think of. But yeah. So Terry says cartoon. I know, like, what do you call it, right? And she says, my husband watches GymTube. Nice. And Elma, my husband watches motorcycle too. People riding across countries on motorcycles. Yes, Andrew does watch this one guy who travels to different cities and just drives around the city or the town or like whatever. Sometimes they're really small areas and just like kind of tells you about the community and stuff, and which is somewhat interesting, but it's also kind of boring a little bit to see. But yeah. But Sammy says, one of my kids I mentor with told me about his dreams of being a doctor, and my heart melted. Aw, nice. And Cece's laughing at our names for our husband stuff. Car tube, gym tube, motorcycle tube. Yeah. Well, I mean, really, I mean, we always call it booktube, right? And so why not? I'll tell Andrew tomorrow. Are you watching CarTube? Oh, yeah. Men watch the randomest thing. Yes, for sure. Hannah says it just released on Prime Video. Okay, maybe that's where I saw it. No, I haven't been on Prime for. Well, yeah, no, I was on Prime last night. I watched a hockey game. So yeah, maybe that's where I saw it. So I mean, it does make sense, but it sounds so funny. Yes, it does sound funny. But why don't we just say, like, for that they refer to it as YouTube and stuff. So why don't we just refer to it as YouTube? But no, we always refer to it as BookTube because it's a segment, right? I don't know. Yeah. Hannah, my husband also watches CarTube. He's an auto mechanic and a car guy. Yeah. Annie, my husband is a channel surfer. I will just get interested and he changes the channel. Oh, that is Andrew, and it drives me insane. Andrew will, like, if we're on the TV, he'll pick up the remote and go channel by channel by channel by channel. And I'm just like, could you not just go to the guide and like look and see what's on and then just go to that channel to watch it? But no. I'm just like, yeah. And they're probably laughing that we call it BookTube. Yeah, probably. But that's okay. We laugh at them, they laugh at us. We all get along and laugh. Why not? Okay, I think we should do another sprint. It is almost 9 o'clock. Can we chat for a minute? Get it up to the top of the hour? Okay, well, 9 o'clock my time. Maybe whatever even number is your time? Unless you happen to be in Newfoundland, and then it's 30. I wish my brain wasn't dead and I wanted to say something. Bert, the guide is just a suggestion. Oh, Bert. Yes. Only to men is it a suggestion. Now, and I get really annoyed when the guide is wrong. It tells me it's something on, I change to it, and it's not. And I was like, but you told me. Yeah. How dare they change it? And I tried that advice too, Jeanette. Yeah. Men. It's like asking for directions, right? Same thing. Same thing. So the guide is just directions for them. They don't do that. You can't do that. Okay, it is the top of the hour now. So we're going to read for 30 minutes. because why not? So we're going to go till 30 after. I'm going to bring back our fireside. Okay, come on back. That's the end of our sprint. So I got quite a bit read that time. Where was I? I was on 96, right? Yes. So I got 5 chapters read and 28 pages. Nice. I love short chapters and I am really enjoying it. Oh, okay. I'm reading Little Men and Anne of Ingleside. Nice. Jackie, I finished Last to Fall. Definitely a 5-star. The whole series was great. Yes, it really was. Oh, so good. Hi, Old American Spirit. I think Shannon, right? I think. Hello, had a few minutes to read and saw the sprint. Well, thanks for joining us. Jeannie read 16 pages this time. And Nikki got from page 242 to 256 in Little Men. Good for you. And Morgan read another 2 chapters. In Celestia, I made it most of a square and listened to 1 chapter in Exiles by J.L. Knight. And Bethany, I only have 11 pages. I would have finished, but the dog was growling because he wanted to go to bed. Oh, will you get it finished before you go to bed? Are you going to go to bed with the dog? Like at the same time, not, yeah. Yes, Shannon. Okay, good. And Katrina's here. Hi, I got to 38% in Stonewick number 3. 38%. That's a chonker, right? Is that the large book that you were going to read? And read a little more than 2 chapters. Good for you. And Anne got up to 23% now. Long chapters. Yeah, long chapters sucks. I vote for short. Okay, Bethany's, I'm in bed now and we'll finish tonight. Good. I mean, 11 pages. You can't end there, right? You have to finish. And Rooted in Reading got finished 2 chapters. So 2 chapters seems to be the theme here. Nice. I did not remember what I wanted to ask you during that sprint because I was too absorbed in my book. And I'm loving these switching. I love dual time to begin with, but I'm loving the switching back and getting like history from the past. Yeah. Oh, and I love seeing progress as I move my bookmark and seeing the progress. That is so satisfying. And Vanessa, I just joined about 20 minutes ago. I'm reading The Atonement Child by Francine Rivers for Oshina's Year of Francine Rivers. Nice. Or is that the March book, The Atonement Child? I'm not following on along with that. Like I know, like I've seen Oshina's videos announcing it, but I don't remember the order of the books. And Sammy worked on homework. Yeah. And Elma says, yes, it is a March book. Okay. And Vanessa concurs. It's the March book. So it's kind of what majority of people will be reading this month, right? That are participating. I only got maybe 1 chapter in, and then I switched to a middle grade. And what middle grade did you switch to, M? Yeah. And Gina has about an hour left in my audiobook. Okay. Will you get it done tonight in an hour? Maybe, maybe not. And Christina, I didn't get much reading done this sprint either. I had my dogs bothering me to get into bed as well. But hopefully we can get 1 more sprint in before bed. Yes, for sure. We'll do 2 more for sure. But for me, at least. But yeah. Okay, Katrina, 262 pages, not my chunker. Okay. I have a couple other books on my checked out that I need to read before they need to be returned. Okay. Annie, I got to 60%. You're getting there. And now I may switch back to my audiobook. It is a mystery called You're Fatally Invited. I've heard of that. I've heard of that one, but I don't know. I've just heard the title. I couldn't tell you anything about it. And The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. It is a reread. I feel like that name is familiar. Like Rick Riordan for sure is familiar. The Red Pyramid. Yeah, I don't know. I don't read a ton of middle grade. Oh, gosh. My hair is driving me insane. I have a haircut Thursday, thankfully. My bangs are just too long, not doing what I want. Yeah. Katrina, I will be reading Atonement Child as well, but it will probably be the only Francine Rivers book coordinated with Oshina. Oh my. It feels like all the sprints are coming in, or all the comments are coming in at the same time. Okay. Celeste, it feels like everybody has been reading You're Fatally Invited. Maybe that's the book that Oshina was reading. It's like You're Fatally Invited. Like the words are on top of each other. I should look up that book and see. Sammy, yes, Rick Riordan. Yeah. Tanya, secondary target is edge of your seat reading. Got a chapter right. Yeah, it definitely is. It's so good though. Like for a debut book, especially, so good. And says it's a series with Egyptian mythology. Wow. Hi, Kelly. I will be reading Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Nice. Sunny got to 14%. Shannon says hi to Kelly, and I'm reading A Little House on the Prairie right now. Nice. And Alma, yes, that's why I'm reading it, because it was getting great reviews. Yes, I think Oshina did a short on it. The audio is pretty good so far. And CC says that, yes, Oshina posted a short where she was talking about it. Okay, that's probably where I saw it very recently. I see so many like, book videos. It's like, okay, who talked about this and what? And sometimes like you just remember part of it and not the full thing. Yeah. Sammy's, though I can't read tonight, my current read is Hope's Enduring Echo by Kim Vogel-Sawyer. Anne says, that sounds very good. And M says, I'll be reading Little House in the Big Woods this month. I grew up reading the Little House books. We had the whole series. My brother now has them with his kids. And yeah, And I bought Little House birthday party or birthday at Little, I don't know, something with a birthday for my niece, one of my niece's birthdays. Kelly, I'm hoping to get to Little House on the Prairie a little faster than I got to Farmer Boy. Nice. Yeah, I think we watched all the shows as well as read all the books. I feel like. Yeah. And Shannon says, read that last month. It was so good. Oh, there you go. There you go. I am so cold tonight. Like my hands are freezing. I got my blanket and I just cannot get warm. But my husband was telling me today that they had a fire at their work on one of the lines. And so they had to go stand outside, but they couldn't go get their coats, right? So they're standing outside. And he's like, when I went back in, we were out there for about half an hour. Like it was a small fire. We were back inside half an hour later, and we were all sitting in the cafeteria having lunch, and we all had the shivers, just couldn't get warm. And he's like, I know how you feel. Majority of the time. He's like, yeah, that is me majority of the time. But yeah. And the really funny thing, kind of funny. I mean, it wouldn't have been funny if somebody was hurt, but so they had the fire alarm. They thought it was a fire drill at first, but there was a small fire on one of the lines. So then the fire trucks arrived, and then the ambulance arrived. But the ambulance bay is basically across the road from the factory. The fire station is like almost across town, and the fire trucks arrived first. It was like, bad response for the ambulance. Says, and it's a fun adventure, but I really don't know much about Egyptian mythology. Why do I struggle with that word? Wow. And Vanessa says, wrap your hands around a nice cup of tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. So a nice coffee, not a good plan. Yeah. I've already had my hot coffee for the night, and yeah, I probably should. Every time, like Andrew will have a cup of coffee or tea or something, and I'll come and just kind of stand there and hold it for him. Oh, you want a sip? M says, Little House was my choice for book club. I want to reread the series this year. Yeah. And Nikki says, I'm having the opposite problem. I'm hot, never fever, just hot, toasty. Hot, just wow. Why I did not read that correctly, right? And Vanessa says, no. Iced coffee, no. No, that does not solve my problem. And Annie says, my last comment just vanished. Well, yeah, like I don't know what happened there. Don't know. Type it again, it'll appear, maybe. Yeah. Let's talk a random book. I've got my box. That was noisy. Wow. Got my box and my prompt cards. So give me a number and I'll draw that number. Any number. What's your favorite number? Pick a low number so I don't have to count too high. Okay, Bethany says 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a library book. Well, that doesn't work. I don't have any library books. We're going with the next. We're not going with the next one. A book released this year. So what has been your favorite book released this year so far? I have read 3 new releases. This is not really like giving you a ton because it's only No, it's only March. We skipped a month. I don't know where February went. Like February just, yeah, January dragged, February, it's over. What? So my favorite new release that I have read so far this year, Last of Fall by Lynn H. Blackburn. But the other one that I gave 5 stars, I read 3, and I gave the other one 5 stars, was Witness Protection by Robert Whitlow, but it is not released yet. So have you guys read any new releases, and what is your favorite? Okay, number 12. So that was 7. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is any author that you want to read to 0. They're both my current reads. Kate Breslin. That's not Kate Breslin. Kate Breslin and Amanda Cox are both authors I want to read to 0. And for Amanda Cox, I have this book and then her new release that's coming out later in the year. Okay, we're going to come back to some of the numbers later. Okay, and M says, it was a sunny day when I walked into the house. I immediately had to turn on the fan, but it will be chilly overnight. That's California for you. Yeah. Okay, so Jackie says her favorite new releases is On Living Stone and Last of All. I didn't realize On Living Stone came out this year. Okay. And Cece says, I know, I was so confused when I woke up and saw March 1st. I was like, wait, February's over, right? Kind of like I'm going on a book buying ban. I'm not buying any books on the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of February. Like, oh, okay. And Alma says, I read Ambush of the Heart. It was released on February the 3rd, and I really liked it, by Mary Connolly. And Vanessa hasn't read any books released yet this year. Yeah, it's still pretty early. I really want to read The Belle of Chatham. Is that Laura France? Maybe? M says, I don't think I've read anything from 26. I'm still reading books released in the last quarter of 2025. Yeah, totally. Totally get it. Bethany says, Joanna Davison Politan. Oh, that's for an author you want to read to zero. Yes. I've only read one book by her. Yeah. And Sammy says, I had a long February. Oh, sorry, Sammy. Yeah. Tanya says, I read The Belle of Chatham. It wasn't my favorite. That's the only new release of the year I've read so far this year. Yeah, that wasn't really a fair prompt when it's so early in the year. Celestia says, I want to read Aaron Magnum to zero. I only have 4 books to go. Oh, good. Mind the Gap is Aaron Magnum, and that's one I really want to read. And also The Broken Branch, I think that's Aaron Magnum as well, that Lindsay from BFCG has really raved about. Yeah. Anne says, I would like to read Karen Whitmire. Wow, I cannot read. I would like to read Karen Whitmire to zero. Yes, she is on my list too. Definitely. Terry says, wait, February's over. Sorry to break it to you. It's March 3rd today. But it's closer to spring. And Annie says, Nellie and Almanzo used to have a Facebook page where they read The Little House on the Books out loud. So I did that a couple of years ago and read the whole series. It was fun. Oh, interesting. M says, I would love to read Karen Whitmire to zero. Lee says, Michelle Chocolate. Oh, me too. She's on my list this year. We'll see if it happens. Vanessa says, Jamie Jo Wright and Francine Rivers. Well, if you participate in Oceana's Francine Rivers, you get close. I mean, I don't know how many books Francine River has. Probably quite a few. But I mean, with Oceana, you're reading 12, right? So, Katrina says, I haven't read anything new. I saw a book, Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth, that looked interesting, but she's a new to me author. Yeah, I haven't read her. And Katrina also says, to read to zero someday, Lori Wick. I have 4 books left. 3 are chunkers. Well, Lori Wick, I think, has quite a few books. So, yeah. And Rooted Reading says Julie Clausen. I don't know if I've ever read anything by her. Katrina says, I have Belle of Chatham on my TBR too. Vanessa says, yes, it is by Laura France. Okay. Yes. And Mary Beth says, Joanna Politino. Her latest one is still on my TBR shelf. Rachel says, would love to read Sarah Sundin, and Courtney Walsh is here. I just saw today Sarah Sundin is coming out with a novella in September, a Christmas novella. And I was like, I don't know if she's ever written a novella. I didn't really look, but like immediately I can't think of one. Doesn't mean she hasn't, but I'm like, But I'm also like, how dare you add another book to my Read to Zero list? Because she is on my list. And she is one I completed last year. Yes, I completed her last year. But now she has a new one out. Or coming out. Maybe it's already out. Mist Over the Channel Islands. I think it's already out. Let me look at my new. Yes, it came out in February. Yeah, so then she has 12 something. I can't remember what the title is. And M says, I read 2 Rachel Fordham this year, new me author, but I would probably add her to my Read to Zero. Yes, I love her books. I wish she'd have a new one soon. I don't know when. Vanessa, I'm definitely reading all of the books Oshina has for Francine Rivers readathon this year, and good for me. I own all the books thanks to my library's year. Well, that worked out well. And Gina says, maybe Rachel Fordham to zero. I just started reading more Christian fiction. I love the main characters in Yours Truly, Thomas. Oh, I loved that book. I don't know. I think it's because of the link to the Dead Letter Office and the series and movies that I've just totally lost the name of. Signed, Sealed, and Delivered were so, so good. And so when I read Yours Truly, Thomas, it reminded me a lot of that. And then I love the way the characters connected. And yeah, so good. And Sammy says it's almost 10 p.m., so I'm going to log off. Good night. Good night, Sammy. Get some rest. And hopefully your March goes well. I will talk to you again before the end of March, but wishing you a good March, not a busy February. And Janie says, there are several I would like to read to zero this year. The one I'm closest to finishing is Fanny Flagg. I have one left and actually have it checked out of the library, something to look forward to. Nice. M says, I loved Signed, Sealed, right? Like, it's so good. And Tanya says, good night, Sammy. Alma says, Rachel Fordham is an author I'd like to read another book from. I only read one of hers. Oh, interesting. Yeah. M says, good night, Sammy. Celestia says, I own 2 Rachel Fordham books that I want to read soon. I love The Hope of Azure Springs. Yes. And I feel like Azure Springs is her debut. And then Yours Truly picks up after that, I think. I think that's the order. Bethany, I got all the Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies for Christmas. Nice. I had like the DVD set on my Amazon wish list. And I did not get it. But yeah, that's okay. It's still there. And, you know, maybe my birthday or Christmas or whatever. But yes. I mean, I've seen them all. Like, it's not like I haven't seen them. But yeah. So Tanya says Amanda Dykes and Julie Clausen. Anne says good night. Good night, Anne. Or maybe you're saying good night to Sammy. I don't know. Whichever way. Where are we? Vanessa. I have to say thank you, Jeanette. Because of your channel and others, I've discovered a lot of new to me Christian authors. Well, you're welcome. I love supporting the Christian authors. And I'm sorry for hurting your wallet. Hopefully you can get some from the library. I have to say, though, I don't have a ton of luck with my library, so I don't know, but yeah, I'm sorry. And Shannon says night. And Em says, I just read The Letter Tree in January and Beyond Ivy Walls in February. So you need to read a Rachel Fordham. Wow, I can't even speak. You need to read a Rachel Fordham book in March to keep it going, right? January, February, March, April. Maybe. And Rachel says, yes, I saw the novella cover reveal today. We'll probably pre-order. Yeah, what is it called? I just saw it. It's like 12 something. That's all I remember. That's not good. I can picture it as a green cover. Oh, 12 days and 12 nights. No, 12 days and 12 a night. Wow, I'm going to be saying that wrong the whole time, I'm sure. And maybe it's not a green cover. I don't know. And Shannon just read Fordham's A Life Once Dreamed. Is that, it's so funny how I have to look at the book covers. No, because it's a lady in attendance. I have to look at the book covers to be like, okay, which character was that? Which, yeah. Annie says, Jeanette Oak is my favorite, but I think I've read them all. And Anne says, Beyond Ivy Walls was so good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Vanessa says, I don't have a lot of luck with my library either. Yeah. Bethany, I'm going to finish my book and go to sleep. I'll finish watching tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good night, Bethany. Finish your book and get some rest. And says, for sure, I should start looking for another Fordham tonight. Yes, you should. And since you're reading them, did you say you read Letter Tree first? Which means you're reading them backwards, like from release date. Or wait, is Beyond Ivy Walls her last book that's come out? Wow. The order of books, my memory sometimes. And Tanya says, yes, Anne, I read that last month too. So good. Anne says, night. And Vanessa says, good night. Okay, well, maybe we should go into a sprint. We've been chatting for almost half an hour. So let's go into a sprint and let's just go to 30. So it'll be a 35-minute sprint. And if you need to hop off and go to bed, good night. And if you're staying, great, because, oops. I will be back, and this will not be our last sprint. We will go a little bit longer yet. Okay, so hide that, bring the room back. Okay, that is the end of that sprint. Come on back and tell me how you did. Did anybody finish a book during that sprint? I read another 25 pages and I didn't want to end in the middle of a chapter, so then oh, okay, no. I was gonna say, then I find out it's a short chapter, but no, it wasn't. Pages were stuck. So I've made it to chapter 24, page 150, and I did mark a quote. Just because something is lost doesn't change its worth. Yeah. Okay, where were we? So M says, I probably am reading them out of order. I had bought them both last year, but just got to them. That's okay. I read them out of order too. So that happens a lot. That's fine. And Vanessa says, I try to read authors from the first book they wrote. The books get better the more books they write. Yes, that is for sure. I am currently reading Sarah Sundin from the beginning again. And I actually read her from the beginning and didn't realize I'd started with her first book when I started her, but I didn't read them in publication order. I just started with that series. And then I think I read a standalone. And then, so I'd like to read them all. So I'm kind of thinking when I go back, because there's certain authors I want to reread majority of their books. So I think I'm going to go back and try to do it in publication order, especially because there's some where you see a character show up in a later book, like Rachel Fordham does it. Lynn H. Blackburn does it. Like there's a few. Those are the two I can think of, but yeah. So that's my thought for my rereads next year. Next year. And Kelly said good night. Good night, Kelly. Anne made it to 27%. Morgan got a chapter read. Jeannie got 13 pages read. Celestia almost finished another square and listened to about a chapter and a half. Good for you. And Amy only has 5 pages left. Keep reading. Finish that. And Jess got a little over a chapter. And Amy is reading My Hope Next Door. You will finish it. And Celestia says bye to Kelly. And Vanessa says good night. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's go back. Grab my box again. Let's go back to a number. Where were our numbers? Okay, so Tanya gave us number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me about a book. It's a free pick. Just tell me about any book. And then I'm going to count to 24. And Sunny made it to 23%. And Vanessa, I did horribly. My Sasha Girl Pit Mix wanted to go out, and I only read like 2 pages. That happens. Okay, so that was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 is, that's not a prompt. That's not a prompt. That's not a prompt. Wow. A book with a real place setting. I immediately think of All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley, which is set in Tullahoma, Tennessee. And I wish I had gotten a picture when we were there, but we were really just barely in the town. I wonder if, yeah. And Katrina said, I went down Music Nostalgia Lane, Fine Young Cannibals, and Crash Test Dummies. Now I need to get my book. Crash Test Dummies. I remember them. I don't recognize the other name, but Crash Test Dummies. I think of, oh, I can't picture the cover though. The album cover that I'm thinking of. But yeah, I remember them. And Lee says, Count the Night by Stars. Yes, Nashville. The Pentagon. Not the Pentagon, not the Pentagon. What's it called now? Wow. The Parthenon. Vanessa says, The Belle of Chatham, New Jersey. Oh, I didn't realize that. So, Jeannie, yes, I like to read in publication order also, though with Catherine Ray, I read Berlin Letters because someone reviewed it. Maybe me? No. I haven't read that one, so no, it wasn't me, but I wanted to try her. I've heard good things about that. I want to say Anne from In Search of Wonder read it. I want to say. I mean, yeah, that's set in a real place, Berlin. And Vanessa says, any book in the Timeless series. Oh, they're set in real places? Well, I know they have history in them. I haven't read any of them, so I don't know. But yeah. Lee says, The Sweet Life, Cape Cod, where my aunt lived. Your aunt lived there? That's cool. Can open an ice cream shop. I'd love to go visit someday. And Annie got to about 80% in my short stories. And Terry says, Berlin Letters is so good. Okay. I've only read a couple of Catherine Ray. Have I read 2 or 1? And I did not like the one I read. The one I can think of. But that's just it. I don't know. I just didn't connect with it. And Anne is reading Chrissy, and that's set in the Appalachian Mountains. Nice. This one is set in Bitter End, Tennessee. Is that a real place? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But it's like it reminds me a bit of Appalachians, but it talks about the Rowan Mountain, but I'm not really sure. Yeah. And Lee says, I love ice cream. I would love to have an ice cream shop, but I might eat too much of it. Nice. And he says, Lee, I grew up near there. My grandma lived there. Is that the name of a book? Yes, The Sweet Life is a name of a book. It's a series called Cape Cod Creamery. And Tanya got 3 chapters read. I'm starting a middle grade mystery, a Hardy Boys mystery. I remember reading Hardy Boys growing up. We had like a ton of them along with Nancy Drew, but yeah. Celestia, something about Catherine Ray's writing doesn't work for me. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I want to say it was like the Printed Letter Bookshop, I think is the one I read. But I feel like I've read another one by her. Let me see here. Goodreads, constantly clicking on the banner instead. Oh, I have not read any more by her, so I should try a different one. Like, I mean, the Berlin Letters and A Shadow in Moscow have the highest ratings on Goodreads. Like, they're both over 4. Whereas the one I read is under 4. So, yeah. And Jeannie said, yes, it is. And A Shadow in Moscow is good too. Both are in the Cold War series. Oh, they're a series. Okay. Nice. And Terry says, I didn't like Dear Mr. Knightley, but I like the printed letter bookshop. Yeah. Lee says, Annie is a trilogy. The first one is The Sweet Life by Susan Woods Fisher. I loved it. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Celestia, I read Dear Mr. Knightley and A Portrait of Emily Price and maybe one other. I wanted to like them so bad. That's sad when you really want to like it and it just doesn't work. Jeannie says, I want to read Catherine Ray to Zero. See, it works for some, doesn't work for others. And Annie says, thanks, Lee and Jeanette, putting it on my TBR. Glad to help. And Terry says, Celestia, her books are kind of depressing. Huh. Celestia says, really? I don't remember the ones I read being depressing, but maybe I just forgot. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't remember much about, I just remember not liking it. I don't even know why. Yeah, it just, my review says I struggled to connect with any of the characters and I just couldn't get invested. I felt like I was on the outside looking in and be told everything rather than being there with the characters. But I mean, like, yeah, so we'll see. And Jeannie says Cold War series, but not really related, except both set during the, right, okay, that makes sense. And the Berlin letters, would it have some form of epistolary in it with letters? Like, it's got to have letters, right? It better if it has letters in the title. But that would really intrigue. I think that's what intrigues me the most about it. And I love the cover too, because she's standing in front of the car, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's just unique. It stands out to me. Jeannie says, yes, there are letters. Okay, yeah. I gotta hang now. It's bugging me. Yeah. Okay, so let's do another sprint. Oh, and they're vital to the plot. Well, that's good. They have to be vital to the plot. They have to be. I love it when the letters are vital. Like, I love finding a journal in a book. Like, that's some of my favorite. And just finding out things. And that's kind of the way this one looks to be going is our main character has just now found some letters. And so it seems like, oh, it was like, I lost the gift note, but it's there. It's there. And it seems like that's how she's going to find out about her ancestors is through letters, but we'll see. I don't know yet. And Tanya says, I didn't read it, but I think Dear Mr. Knightley is letters too, right? That's what I've heard. I think so. My bookmark's falling out of my book. Shouldn't be throwing it around, like waving it around. Yeah. And Anne is going to head out. Have a great night. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining. Hope you got some good reading in or productivity. And Celestia says yesterday's letters too. Okay, yeah. I kind of, yeah, I wonder if a lot of hers are. I don't know. Okay, so we are almost at 1:45. So let's do a shorter sprint. Let's do a 20-minute sprint because I shouldn't stay up too late. I do have to work tomorrow. So let's go until 5 after. Then we'll chat a little bit and then we'll say goodnight. And Tony says I struggle with Catherine Ray too. So that's the thing. Like, everybody has their own type, right? Okay, so let's read till 5 after. Okay, that's the end of the sprints for tonight. So I made it to page 168. I stopped in the middle of a chapter, so I've got to finish the chapter. But that means that I got 100 pages read tonight, because I think I started on 68. Maybe. Yeah, I started on chapter 10 and I am on chapter 26. And Terry said, my phone said it's time for bed. Good night. Good night, Terry. Thanks for joining in. Cece says good night. And Tanya says good night, everyone. Thanks for the sprints. Well, thank you for joining. Jeannie said, I read 50 pages total tonight, almost a third of 3/4 of the way through Shadow and Moscow, and I'm loving it. Well, that is good. And Em, thanks and good night. And Vanessa, I think I got 7 pages read. Well, it was a shorter sprint. Morgan got a chapter, and Vanessa says good night. So I will be back for sprints in 2 weeks, which will be the 17th. I have a work meeting next Tuesday night. But I don't, yeah. And it amazes me how much I got read tonight. Well, that's awesome. Good for you. So tomorrow night, there will be sprints on Lucy's channel. And Thursday night, there will be sprints on Em's channel. And I hope to join both of them. Get some more reading done. And Jeannie, thank you for these sprints. Love hanging out with you all. Yes, this is fun. I remember when I first discovered reading sprints, it was like, what? You do what? I'm like, but I love the chatting in between and getting reading, like I feel productive and hanging out with people. So it's a win-win all around. And I never thought I would do them myself. And look, now I am on a regular basis. So thank you all for joining. And I will have a new book by the time we come back and sprint again on my channel, because I am almost halfway through this book and I am really loving it. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.